Today is the Shloshim of Meir ben Natan, Lieutenant Colonel Martin Gallen, Esquire, Arya Gallen's father. So he asked me to give a shir in honor of his father's memory. The Shloshim, why is revival of the dead essential to Judaism? So today we're not going to do the parsha. We're going to do why is revival of the dead essential to Judaism? Why is it one of the Ani Mamins? Why is it so important to believe that the dead will be resurrected? Why is that an ikar of Yahadut?
That's great.
So we're going to deal with that. Yehuda's kind enough to hand out the papers. Why is revival of the dead essential to Judaism? The Ramchal tells us, Abraham, that God wants to reward the body too for the share in all of our mitzvot. Doesn't our tired body want to remain in bed a little longer? It's time to get up for Shachris, and the tired body doesn't want to get up every morning. So Ramchal says God wants to reward the body as well, eternal reward, and therefore that's one of the reasons why there's going to be Chiyat HaMeitim. Well, why should that be an ikar of Yahadut? Why is it so important to believe in that? So you take a look at your pages, side number 2. We'll start with 2. The Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Gemara records a discussion between Mark Anthony and his friend and mentor, Rabbi, the one who wrote the Mishnah, of why there has to be Tchiyat HaMeitim. The Neshama is an Olam Emet, right? Reunited, and it feels so good, so why can't it stay there? Right? Why does the Neshama have to come back, and why is the Ikar of Yahadut? So we're reading the left side. Amalei Antoninus Rebbe. Mark Anthony said to Rebbe, Avram, you have that? Guf uneshama yecholin lifta atzma min adin. A person's body and soul are each able to beat the rap from judgment. You hear? Why? This is Anthony asking, the Emperor of Rome. He was a good friend of Rebbe. He asked him, it looks like the guf and the neshama can beat the rap. Ketzad, how? Guf ama neshama chata. I think it's called Avram passing the buck. The body says it's the soul that sinned.
Yes.
Right? Right? The soul that sinned. Right? Shemiyoim shepershem imeni hareini mutal ke'even. Bikever. Right? From the day that the soul departed, the dead body is what? Is lying dead in the grave. It's unable to boogie. Right? Dead body can't commit a sin. He's lying dead in the grave. And uneshama, continuing on the top there, uneshama meres, and God confronts the soul. Why did you sin? What can the neshama say, Chava? What? And the soul says, on top of the page in the right column, it is the body that sinned. Right? What do you want from me? God, Shemiyoim sheparashti mimeni hareinu parachas ba'avir kitzipor. From the day I left the body, I'm flying in the air like a bird, unable to sin. God will ask the soul, how did you sin? What are you going to say? I ain't got no body. Right? Can the neshama do a sin? No. So each one seems to what? Be able to beat the judgment. Each one could pass the buck to the other one. The guf says, what do you want from me? I'm laying dead in the kever. I couldn't do that sin. And the neshama says, I ain't got no body. Literally. Because in order to sin, you need a body. And the neshama has no body. So Rebbe said, I'll give you a mashal. See that? Rebbe answered, Omelei emshalach mashal. I'll give you a parable. Lama davadome. To what can this matter be compared? Lemelech basav adam shahoylai pardes na. A human king had a beautiful orchard. V'hoyaboy, and he had what? Bakurais na, beautiful figs he had there. So, taking a business trip, so he hired 2 guards, but he wanted to save on the salary, so he hired, who were the 2 guards that he hired? He hired one cripple and the other guard was blind. Right? Hired a handicap. And he went on a business trip. The cripple guard said to the blind one, I see beautiful figs in the orchard. Let's have a party. When the king's away, the guards will play. Right, Avram, you following? That's what who said that? The crippled one said to the blind one. So he said, come, mount me on your shoulders, because he's crippled. And I together I'll guide you to where the delicious figs are. Rochav chiger al gabay suma. The crippled one mounted the back of the blind guard. And then they had a party. They ate up all the figs. Okay? Liyamin boil party. So the king comes back from his business trip and found all of his delicious figs are what? Gone. All his Ben and Jerry's ice cream all eaten up. Amalahem. So the king confronted the handicapped guards. He says to them, the beautiful early figs, what happened to them? So what happened? The crippled one said to the king, do I have any feet which should travel to the figs? He can't move, he's crippled. I certainly could not have taken him. So then the king confronts whom? The blind one. And what does the blind guard say? What do you want from me, kingy? He doesn't have any eyes, he can't see. I certainly couldn't take your figs, I don't know where they are, he's blind. So what did the king say? Chava, you can't fool Mother Nature. What did the king say? He mounted the crippled guard on the back of the blind guard, and he judged them as a unit. See footnote 2? Finding them guilty of the crime which they were jointly capable. So that's the moshel, Avram. What's the nimshal? Afakudish Baruch Hu, maybe neshama is yorka beguf. So too, therefore you have to have Tchiyat HaMesim. On the day of judgment, God brings the soul, injects it back in the body, v'danos on the echad, and judges them as a unit for the sin they committed together in this lifetime. Shenemar, the pasuk says in Psalms, He, God, will call to the heavens above and to the earth to judge His people. Rabbi explains the verse. He will call to the heavens above. Who's in the heavens above? The neshama. The Lord said, then in the earth below, that's the body, and God will what? Will judge them together. See footnote 4? Chavi, have that footnote 4. God will summon the soul which comes from a person from heaven, and the body which comes from the earth, and reunite them in order to judge them as a unit. Pasuk in Psalm 19, Mishpat Hashem emes tzadko yachtav. The judgments of God are true and are righteous together. When the body and soul are judged together, then Hashem's judgment is right. Each one gets what they deserve, right? So therefore there has to be what? There has to be Tchiyat HaMetim, right? So since the soul has been reincarnated many times into different bodies, which body will be revived at the appointed time? Will the real me please wake up, right? So the answer is, the Riyah Kodesh deals with this. He says that's why the pasuk in Mishlei, Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. Why do you light a Yotzad candle for a dead person? The pasuk in Mishlei, Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. The candle of God is considered what? The soul of a human being. Why is the human soul compared to a candle? Why is that? The flame goes up, the neshama goes up, and the wax melts. So the guf and the neshama, the body's like the wax that melts, decomposes, but the flame goes up. But also, a candle, you can light 1,000,000 flames from that one candle. Will that candle be diminished? No. The human soul is like that. The neshama will be revived in each of the vehicles, the guf, which were utilized during the lives of every soul. Each spark of the primary neshama becomes an independent personality. Just like a soul, just like a fire, a flame, you light and you keep on lighting, and that main candle is not diminished. So each candle, each time a person is recycled, it's like a nitzo, it's a spark, and it assumes its own identity. So it'll be pretty confusing, right? When Tchiyat HaMesim, who the real me is, right? Will the real me stand up? So we still don't know why Tchiyat HaMesim is so important. Why not remain in Olam Haba? The neshama is there, reunited with Hashem. Why the need to return? So Rebbe gave one moshel, one explanation, Antoninus Rebbe. But of course there's more to it than that. There's a Mishnah Avot. Yofa sha'achas b'tshuva ma'asim tovim ba'olam hazeh. 1 hour of tshuva and good deeds is more beautiful in this world, mikol chai olam haba. No matter how sweet it is in olam haba, but 1 hour of tshuva and good deeds in this world is more precious than all olam haba. Why? Because the neshama cannot put on tefillin. The neshama cannot do bikecholim. Right? For that you need a body. Therefore, on the Vilna Gaon, on his deathbed, he began to cry. The Vilna Gaon on his deathbed began to... Why did he cry? Rebbe, you're going to the highest place. He says, yeah, where I'm going, I cannot put on tefillin. I cannot wear tzitzis. I can't smile and say hello to anybody. I mean, you need a body for that. Wow. So the Vilna Gaon cried on his deathbed. Because to do mitzvahs is only where? On earth. You need a body for that. And the neshama cannot put on tefillin or make a shiva call or bikecholim visit. Now, Isaiah tells us, when a person goes to a shiva house, he quotes a pasuk by Yeshayahu, Ubile hamoves lo netzach. After Mashiach comes, and the dead will be resurrected, God will swallow up death forever. That's a pasuk in Isaiah, and that's how you comfort the mourner. Bila hamoves lo netzach. Why is that? Why will death be swallowed up forever? Why? So to answer this question, we have to ask another question, right? Can you give a copy to Aryeh? Where was Gan Eden, Avram? Where was Gan Eden? Adam and Chava were in Gan Eden. Is that in the physical world, or the spiritual world? So the Ramchal explains, or Rechaim HaKodesh explains, Api Kabbalah, Plan A. Plan A was that the physical world and the spiritual world should be like a 2-story mansion. Beam me up and beam me down. He said like a 2-floor mansion. So Gan Eden, before Adam and Chava sinned, the physical world and the spiritual world was like a 2-story mansion where man on Plan A was supposed to go beam me up and beam me down. He's supposed to live in both worlds simultaneously. But Plan A seldom works out, even for God. So now we go to Plan B. So when Adam and Chava sinned, they broke the escalator or the elevator. Now the only way to get from the physical world to the spiritual world is through the bridge that we call what? Yeah. Death. Death is the world, says Yeruchaim, is the tool that connects the physical world and the spiritual world. But Plan A was the Gan Eden. Physical Gan Eden, spiritual Gan Eden is a 2-story mansion. You're supposed to go up and down at will. But when we sin, all of us sin because we have Adam and Chava's DNA, divine natural ability, right? So we broke the elevator. Now, to connect the physical and the spiritual world is a tunnel we call death. But when Mashiach comes, says the Ramban, we will go back to Adam Koydem Achet. Adam Koydem Achet, where man is supposed to live forever in both worlds. So therefore Isaiah says, Bila hamoves lanetzach, death will be swallowed up forever, because then the tikkun will have been made, and the escalator, Avram, or the elevator will be repaired, so you won't need the tunnel or the bridge that we call death. So therefore to Ikrav Yahadut, because that's Plan A from the get-go, that man is supposed to live in both worlds, what? Simultaneously. Now, what's the clearest pasuk in Tanakh that there'll be a resurrection of the dead, Avram? Where's that? Daniel 12. I think you have it on the sheet, but it's in my handwriting in the Hebrew. Daniel Yud Bet. Daniel 12. It says, "V'rabim yeshenei admas afa yukutzu." Many of those that sleep in the dirt will wake up. Many. It doesn't say Jews. It says, see, Daniel 12. Daniel, you have it in my handwriting of it. V'rabim, and many, mishenei adma safar, the clearest pasuk in the Tanakh, many of those that sleep in the dust, yukutzu will what? Wake up. You're talking about millions of people, Chava, or billions? Where are you going to put them all? Aryeh.
Other planets.
Aryeh, I'm telling you, you must have ESP. Aryeh's ahead of me. The man's ahead of me. It's his father's yortzeit. I mentioned your father's name. Leila Nishmat, Meir Ben Natan, Zechroin Avracha, Lieutenant Colonel Martin Gallon, Esquire, and your father's proud of you because Aryeh was mechavan to my punchline. The last Mishnah in Shas. You know, Chava, Avini's table comes at the end of a meal. Saving the best for last, right? The last Mishnah in the oral Torah, Masechta Uktzim, and we know Achron Chaviv, saving the best for last, says, Otit HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahanche l'chol tzaddik 310 planets. That after Tchiyat HaMesim, God is destined to give 310 planets to each tzaddik. That will solve the population explosion.
Rents go down?
Huh? And therefore, there are billions of galaxies, Bill. Why are there billions? You know, starry night. Why are there billions of galaxies? It's all part of the plan, Masha. It's part of the plan. Masechta Uktzim, the last Mishnah in the oral Torah, saving the best for last. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to give each tzaddik, when he wakes up, 310 planets. Why dafka 310? You have to stay tuned and ask why. Right? So that's why they're billions of galaxies, and this will solve all those people that are resurrected. Avram, they're going to have beam me up, Scotty, and beam me down. That's why there's these billions of galaxies. Isn't that amazing how everything is with a plan? Everything is with a plan, and this is actually the last Mishnah in the oral Torah. But what's it like in the afterlife? Wouldn't you like to know? If you turn over your sheet, it's just incredible. The Rambam actually describes what's it like in the afterlife, Avram. You turn over your sheet, how does the Rambam know? Maybe he's been there and back. What's it like in the afterlife, right? Stay tuned. You see, Halacha Bet, Hilchas Tshuva. Sarah, it's underlined in yellow, I think, no? Yeah. You have it? Hilchas Tshuva? You have it? Now, the Zohar says something amazing. Fasten your seatbelts, Aryeh. The Zohar says, when you die, you feel like you wake up from a long dream. The Zohar says when a person dies, the sensation is like a wake-up call. Is it a coinky-dinky that the Goyim call a funeral awake? Aryeh, could that be a coinky-dinky? Come on. Why do the Goyim call a funeral awake? It cannot be a coinky-dinky. What does awake have to do with a funeral? The Zohar says, death, you wake up in Olam Haba. And therefore, the Zohar says, therefore we dream. Why do we dream, Avram? So the Zohar says, life is but a dream. I said it. La 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 la. Life is but a dream. Right? So the Zohar says, why? Because when you're dreaming, it seems so real. And you wake up, it's a dream. That's the sensation a person has when he dies. It's like he woke up from a dream. So in order not to shock us after 120, we are in training, Avraham. Says the Zohar, when you dream, this is a foretaste of what this world will look like when you wake up on the other side. That's why we dream. Isn't that incredible? Now the Zohar said the difference between life and death is like taking off a coat. You hear this, Avram? Like when I walk into a room and I take off my jacket, I emerge. My coat is gone, but I come into the room. So the Zohar says our body is like a garment, or like an astronaut wearing a spacesuit. The body, like the spacesuit, doesn't define me. And therefore, a person sitting Shiva, he tears his clothes. Why does he tear his clothes? There are many explanations. One explanation is that's a great nechama, because person's dear relative, his body is all torn up.
Only your body.
But just like the shirt is not the person, the body isn't the person either. The torn jacket reminds the relative that your beloved relative whose body is torn up, that's not him. Just like the jacket is not me. It only covers me. So my relative whose body is torn up, that's not him. That's only his jacket. That's the Kabbalah's explanation why there's Kriyan Almei, Sarva. The body is only something I wear. When one dies, the bodysuit is put on the earth, and the soul leaves. So pasuk in Koheles, the body is put back in the ground as it was. And the spirit, the soul, returns to God who gave her. Therefore, a dead person in Hebrew is called a niftar.
Right.
Niftar. Niftar is an Aramaic word which means released.
Released from the body.
Released from the body. A dead person, even in modern Hebrew, even though it's not Hebrew, it's Aramaic. Please release me. Let's not be in a hurry. After 120, right? Please release me. The dead person is called a niftar because now he is released from his bodysuit. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Now, the Maharal, writing in the year 1570, there's a worldwide explosion of anti-Semitism. Right? What else is known? It's so irrational. Places where they never even saw a Jew, they have this fear and loathing and hatred of a Jew. Now, the Maharal wrote this in 1570, was he a Novi? The Nazis not only hated and loathed the Jew, but actually feared the Jew. To make any sense? The mightiest army in Europe, the Wehrmacht, loathed and hated, but they also feared the Jew. You read Hitler's writing, what a fear, a defenseless people, no country, no army. Why did the Nazis fear the Jew? And the anti-Semites today, besides loathing and hatred, they have this unnatural fear all over. What's the reason? If you don't fasten your seatbelts for this, you'll fall off the chair. I'll give you the Maharal's idea in my own words. You ever see the movie It Came from Outer Space? It's a B movie in the 50s. It Came from Outer Space. Says the Maharal in 1570. Why the Jew is hated and feared? He says because it came from outer space. Billy, listen to this. The Goy senses that the Jew is an alien implant. Remember the body snatchers? Invasion body snatchers? The Goy senses that the Jew is masquerading, but he is a creature of Olam Haba. It came from outer space. The Tzelem Elohim, the Chelik Elohim Yimal. We are a part of God, with a godly soul, masquerading in a human body. Yiddish Masha. So Maharal says the Goy senses that. That explains the unnatural fear and hatred at the same time. Isn't that incredible? That's why the Jew is so loathed, hated, and feared. Never seen a movie It Came from Outer Space? Come on. You missed that one. The 1950s, a B movie. It cost 25 cents to get in to see it.
I remember 15.
That I don't remember. We come from outer space. We come from Olam Haba. And we're implanted here. We have a mission. Mission possible. And the Goy senses that. Now, what's it like in the afterlife? It's amazing. Look at Halacha Bet. This is the Rambam Hilchos Tshuva. You have that, are you? Hilchos Tshuva. You're elevating the soul of your father. Leila Nishmas Meir Ben Atanzal. Ha'olam haba ein boi gufu gviyah. In the afterlife, there's no physical body. I ain't got no body. Ela nafshet tzadikim bilvad beloi guf. Tzadikim exist there without a body. Ki malachei hashorish. When you die and you're righteous, you become what? An angel. Hoyel ve'ein boi guf, since there's no physicality, ein boi lo achila v'lo shtiyah, there's no eating or drinking, v'lo davar mikol shegufas b'nei adam, and he goes on, there's no death, there's no sleep, and on top of the page, I think it's underlined in yellow, you have that Avram, kachamu chachamim, harishonim, on top of the page, the left side, oilam haba, the afterlife, ein boi lo achila, there's no what? No, v'lo shtiyah, v'lo tashmish. V'lo tashmish. Forget about the 72 virgins, Aryeh. No, there's no sexual relations. Lo tashmish. Right? What about the 72 virgins? Forget about it. You know the story. Aryeh, Arafat died, and they put him in a room with an old hag. So he says, God, where's my 72 virgins? So God said, Arafat, you're hard of hearing. I never said 72 virgins. I said a 72-year-old virgin. But they're surprised. Maimonides says, no, there is no sexual activity in the afterlife. No. So what do you do up there? Avram, see the second line, on yellow. Tzadikim yoshvim. The tzaddikim exist there with crowns on their head, and they enjoy Meziv HaShechina. What do you mean head? They ain't got a head. The Rambam goes on. What do you mean they exist there, and they enjoy the splendor of God's company. So he says, so what does it mean that they sit there with crowns on their heads? So he says that's a metaphor. It means that what? And then he quotes a pasuk in Shir Hashirim, the crown that his mother made for him. That's a metaphor for life after death. Simchat olam al rosham. The crown means their incredible knowledge to get to know God intimately. Wow. Closeness. That's the crown, where a person can get to know the essence of Hashem, which is impossible while the neshama is trapped, what? In a bodysuit. Right. And the great pleasure of the afterlife is when we see what we accomplish in this world, how much we did. You smiled on somebody, you did one act of kindness, you think it's nothing. But in the afterlife, you'll see the ripple effect. That's the great pleasure of how we accomplished, how we helped people, what kind of impact we had. We think we did a small little favor to somebody. God will say, roll that tape. So that's the great pleasure of Olam Haba, when you're reunited with the source. And therefore, when a tzaddik dies, the Kabbalah calls it Hilula. Avram, what does Hilula mean? A wedding. The death of a tzaddik is called a Hilula. Not hallelujah, Hilula. Hilula means a wedding. The Gemara in Moed Katan 25 says, Keshe tzaddik nifta min ha'olam. When a tzaddik dies, Kodesh Baruch Hu mesameach im haneshama kechotan im hakala. When a tzaddik dies, the Kodesh Baruch Hu rejoices with the soul like a chosan rejoices with what? With his kala. So let's not be in a rush to get there. We have a lot to accomplish here, right? But we have to know that in Olam Haba is a real place. It's a state of mind. It's not a physical place. Olam Haba is a state of mind. Because after a person dies, only the body dies, but the mind lives on. The neshama, the conscience of the person, that lives on forever. That lives on forever. Now we know that this world is called Olam HaSheker. And the afterlife is called Olam HaEmet. The afterlife is called Olam HaEmet. What does that mean, Avram? How do you spell Emet? Aleph Mem Tov. Mem Tov is what? Death. Isn't that incredible? The word truth, Aryeh, the root of the word true in Hebrew, Emet, is death. Because only when a person dies does he get to see the truth. This is an illusion. This whole world is an illusion. Olam HaEmet, Mem Tov. The physical world is Olam HaSheker, an illusion. And that's why we dream. We said before, the Zohar says, dreams seem so real, but when we awake, it's all an illusion. So the Zohar says, after death, we awake to a more real existence. Our experience in the physical world will be like a dream. So therefore, true Emet, Aleph Mem Tov, only comes when a person dies. As the Mishnah says, this world is compared to a corridor. Prepare yourself in the corridor in order to what? To enter the banquet, right? To enter the banquet. Nachon? Now, in this week's parsha, we'll tie it into the topic. Malach Elohim Olam Yordan Bo. Yaakov had a dream on a ladder. And in the ladder, he saw angels of God going up and going down. Says the Baal Shem Tov, who are the angels of God going up and down? Me and you and me. All of us are an angel of God. We're all part of God. We all have a godly soul. Nobody takes a coffee break on a ladder, Masha. Nobody take a coffee break on a ladder? If you're not climbing up, automatically going down. So in this world, we all have angels of God. We have a mission. Sometimes we go up and sometimes we go down, and don't be discouraged. Because Yerida l'tzorech aliyah. Sometimes you have to go down in order to what? Go higher and higher. It's a posuk in Mishlei. Shevel yipol tzaddik v'kam. The tzaddik will fall and stumble 7 times. Why is he called a tzaddik? Because he come. Baal Shem Tov puts a little spin on that pasuk. Only when a person falls 7 times and doesn't despair, and he doesn't give up, and he keeps getting up despite falling, only then is he called what? Isn't that incredible? Olim the Yordim. No one stays stationary. We're bound to fall. God expects me to fall. How do I know? He gave me Yetzer Hara, but he also expects me to what? To get up, pick myself up, and don't feel sorry for myself. Right? Despite the fall, or because of the fall, become greater than before. And what's the analogy, Daniel? You take a spring. Whatever's true in the physical world, Aryeh, is more true in the spiritual world. You take a spring, the tighter you push a spring down, once you release it, what? Jumps higher and higher. Well, if that's true in the physical world, Daniel, it's certainly true what? In the spiritual world. Because the physical world is only a manifestation of the spiritual world. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that an unbelievable idea? Wow. Going on with this idea. All of us are an angel of God. We're all sent down to do mission possible. And no one can do it my way. The Mishnah says in 137, Bishvili nivra olam. You got to hear this. Because of me, the universe was created. Now, the Kotzker Rebbe, who knew Hebrew, says, how do you say because of me in Hebrew? Biglali. The Mishnah knows Hebrew too, right? Ask any Ulpan teacher, how do you say because of me? Biglali. Yehuda. Avram, ask your Ulpan teacher, how do you say because of me in Hebrew? Biglali. So the Kotzker Rebbe says the Mishnah knows Hebrew and I know Hebrew. So the Mishnah wants to say because of me the world was created. Why does the Mishnah use the word bishvili? Should have said biglali. Biglali means because of me. But the Mishnah used the word bishvili.
For me.
What's the difference?
For me.
Because of me the world was created.
And then the other
It's the same word. It's a synonym. But we know in Hebrew there are no synonym buns. Really. I like synonym buns, but... Says the Kotzker Rebbe Aryeh, fastening seatbelts. He came just to hear this. He says the word shvili is from the root shvil. What does a shvil mean in Hebrew? Aryeh means a path. Bishvili nivra olam. Because of my path and nobody else of the universe created. Every godly soul, every angel of God, which is us, has their unique shvil, their unique path to get to the truth. And no one's path is similar. So the whole universe, Avram, was created because of what? My path. My shvil. Hebrew, shvil means a path. Bishvili nivra olam. Because of my path was the universe created. And no one can do it my way. And just like God doesn't run out of fingerprints, He doesn't run out of paths. Every person has a unique path that only he can accomplish and no one else can do it. As the song goes, no one can do it my way. Right, Avram? No one can do it my way? Pretty amazing. What?
Except Frank Sinatra.
No one can do it my way. What? Now the parsha goes on. Yaakov has his dream, right? On Temple Mount. He has a dream on Temple Mount, and he calls it Bethel. But the Torah says, but before that, the city was called Luz. Arya, why should I care that 3,800 years ago, before Yaakov slept on Temple Mount, he called it the house of God, but before that it was called Luz. Thank you very much. The Torah's GPS, right? Who cares that the city before Yaakov slept on Temple Mount was called Luz? So what? Why should I care for the year 2018? Get a question on the table? Luz, fasting seatbelt. The Talmud Sanhedrin says that what connects the head to the body, there's a small bone in the back of the neck, which is called Luz. And the head, which contains the neshama, the mind, not the brain. Your x-ray, you see a brain. Can you see a mind on the x-ray? The neshama is the mind that lives inside the head. So the Luz bone, says the Talmud Sanhedrin, is that entity that connects the head, the soul, to what? To the body. That's exactly what Temple Mount is, Rachmiel. Temple Mount is the Luz of the universe. It connects the godly, the heavenly, to the earthly. That's the Kesher. Therefore, Temple Mount is called, the Arabs know that. They know that. That's the Luz bone of the universe, where heaven and earth what? Meet. Just like the Luz bone connects the head, the soul, or the mind, to the body. So the Temple Mount is the Luz of the universe. That connects the godly to the earthly. That's where they meet up. Isn't that incredible? Don't tell the Arabs this. I hope they're not listening.
I think they
We should sing the head bone connected to
the head bone connected to the Luz bone. The Luz bone connected to the neck bone, right? It's just incredible. Unbelievable.
But why do the shamans have to come back?
Why do we
A
cycle?
different person.
You have to come back. If you don't accomplish your mission, right, then you have to come back, because no one can do it my way. Masha, we just said that. My shvil, my path is unique, and if I don't do it, it won't get done. So if I don't do it in one time, then Nebuchadnezzar, God's in what business are you? The recycling business. God's in the recycling business or the rejuvenate business. Right? Because no one can do it my way, Masha, so God has to, if the Shema doesn't do it, it has to come back until it does it right. Because no one else can do it. That's why you have reincarnation. No one can do my shvil. No one can do my path. It's unique to me. So if you don't get it done in one lifetime, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send back the neshama as many times as it takes until what? Mission accomplished. Scotty? And therefore, there's an amazing verse. Can you hold that, Tiger? Hold that question. Please don't forget it. There's an amazing verse in Isaiah 60. V'amech kulam tzadikim. God tells the prophet Isaiah, your people are all righteous. Now, Aryeh, we know God's John Hancock is what? Emet. I don't know about you, I'm no tzaddik. How could God tell Isaiah that all of your people, Isaiah, all of them are tzaddik? I ain't no tzaddik. So what does the Ruach HaKodesh say, Avram? V'amech kulam tzadikim. God's John Hancock is truth. Says the Ruach HaKodesh. Yes, after all the Gilgulim and after all the recycling, we're all going to be a tzaddik. Can a parent give up on a child? A parent can't give up on no child. God is our loving parent. So he'll keep recycling that neshama until we're all tzaddikim. But it's very painful for the soul to come back. The soul doesn't want to come back. But, right? The soul is grooving with the big boss, right? But if you don't do the mission, Hashem said, listen, you have to come back. If you don't do the mission, you have to come back and keep coming back. You had a question.
I was asking, the soul comes back into different bodies.
Right.
So what happens
So the Ruach HaKodesh says, I don't understand it, but this is what he said. The neshama will be revived in each of the vehicles which were utilized during the lives of every soul. Because each spark of the primary neshama becomes an independent personality, just like a candle You spin off. That's why the human soul is compared to a candle of God in Mishlei. Just like the candle assumes its own identity. So, will the real me please stand up, right?
All these other people, bodies,
right?
they recognize each other.
Will they recognize each other? I don't know. Stay tuned. I don't know. But what happens to Tchiyat HaMesim if a person is married to a few different women and the women died, and then he gets resurrected? Who does he wind up with? Which of the widows? What? Can he pick or what? Can he pick? I don't know. I'm asking you. Stay tuned, right? I don't know, right?
Who knows? Maybe they're all part of the same person.
What?
That would be scary, wouldn't it?
What?
We have a lot of problems to work out.
A lot of problem, right? But that's not our problem, right? That's not our problem,
I have all faith in Hashem.
right? Hashem.
Have to come back.
Who said Moshe Rabbeinu comes back? It's only if you don't accomplish your mission.
You said that somebody was a Gilgal for him.
Oh, you're right. Who was a Gilgal? Moshe was a Gilgal of Hevel.
Yeah.
The Rabbi said Moshe was a Gilgal of Hevel.
No, but after that.
Moshe was a Gilgal of Hevel, and also of Noach. Noach became reincarnated to Moshe Rabbeinu. The Ari says Noach didn't daven for the generation, right? Moshe Rabbeinu comes back and doesn't stop davening for the generation. That was his tikkun. In fact, Yeshayahu calls the flood Mei Noach. What does Mei Noach mean? Why do you blame Noach for? Why does God, through Isaiah, blame Noach? Was it his fault? Yes. If he would have prayed for the generation, there wouldn't be no flood. But he didn't praise Mei Noach. Moshe Rabbeinu comes back and he says, God, if you don't forgive the Jewish people, Mecheni.
Take my name.
Mecheni, erase me. You arrange the letters of the word Mecheni, what do you get? Mei Noach. Are you sitting down? If you rearranged, Moses says, if you don't forgive them, erase me. The word Mecheni, you rearrange the letters, you don't need no Bible codes. It's Mei Noach. He came to be Metakin because he was Noach and didn't daven. Now the Mei Noach is repaired by the word Mecheni, erase me if you don't forgive them, which spells out the same words, Mei Noach. And therefore, you're sitting down, Aryeh, the word Teva is only used twice in the whole Torah. The word Teva. Aseh lecha Teva. God tells Noach, build a box. Noach spoke Hebrew. He didn't build a box, he built the Queen Mary. So God should have said, Aseh lecha Sfina. Aseh lecha Aniyah.
Right.
Noach took Ulpan 103. So why did God say build a box? That word Teva is written only one more time. Where? Baby Moses, Ha Teva, the extra hay. Both times the extra hay ayidiyah. How do you say hey ayidiyah in English? That pointing out word. So just like the Ha Teva of Noach and the Ha Teva of Moses, even though it wasn't a box, it was a Queen Mary, Moses was a box to connect what? That Moshe Rabbeinu was a Gilgal of Noach. And the Talmud says both of them were born circumcised. Noach was born circumcised and Moshe Rabbeinu was born circumcised. It's the same neshama. Noach got reincarnated as Moshe Rabbeinu and he made the tikkun where he turned the Mei Noach into what? Avram Mecheni, the same letters. So God says, Aryeh, you can pay me now or you can pay me later, right? But all of us are going to make it. But why put us through all of the birth and all the troubles and then the tribulations of Judgment Day? Person should try to do his tikkun what? Now, person should try to say he wouldn't have to be recycled. He wouldn't have to be recycled, right? What?
Easier said than done.
Right. I think Malki had a question, no?
You said before, why do we come back and why do we that? I remember you once saying, because we're all a work in progress.
We're all a work in progress.
Work in progress.
That's right. That's right.
Hopefully progress.
When the Balatanya was born, the Baal Shem Tov was at the bris. He said, this is a new neshama. We're all recycled, but the Shem Tov took a look at the baby Balatanya and said, this soul is not recycled. This is a new neshama. The Balatanya. Wow. I gotta tell you a words from my granddaughter. If you just came to hear this, my 10-year-old granddaughter, I gotta say her name is Elisheva. I hope she's listening. This week's Parsha, Yaakov says, V'shafti v'sholom b'eisavi, v'Hashem li lalehim. He's on his way to Ocean Parkway now. He's on his way to Syria, right? He says, when I come back to my father's house, the Eretz Yisrael, v'haya Hashem li lalehim. Only then will God be a God for me. V'haya is Lashon Atid, right? Bill, you know Hebrew better than me. So, the Ramban says, what do you mean? Only when I come back to Eretz Yisrael will God be a God for me? That's what Yaakov is saying. Only when I come back to Eretz Yisrael will I have a God for me. But while I'm outside of Eretz Yisrael, I have no God. Says the Ramban, that's how the Talmud in Ksubis, page 110 knows. Kol adar b'chutz la'aretz k'mishein olahai. The Talmud in Ksubis, page 110 says, anyone who lives in Crown Heights, Borough Park or Lakewood, is like he has no God. You can look it up. Ksubis, page 110. So the Ramban says, how could the Talmud make such a bizarre statement? Says the Ramban, look at this week's Parsha. Yaakov Avinu is the source. He says, only when I come back to my father's house. Where's his father's house? In Beersheba. V'haya Hashem li Elohim. Only, Haya is Lashon Atid, ask any Ulpan teacher. Only then will God be my God. Implying, while I'm not in Eretz Yisrael, it's like I have no God. That's what the Ramban says, basic Ksubis 110. So my granddaughter Elisheva asked me, what about all of the Chabadniks, the Chabad house in Timbuktu, and the Chabad house in Nigeria, Uganda, the Amazon, Amazon.com. And they're all very frum. So I didn't know what to answer. You know what she answered me, Aryeh? She said, we know, my granddaughter, Elisheva, she says, we know b'kuach nefesh doiche kol Torah kula. To save a person's life, you push away the entire Torah. He says, these Chabadniks are engaged in hatzalas nefashis. They're saving lives. Not only lives, they're saving souls. So if you can save, you can push away the Torah to save a life, you can certainly push away the Torah to what? To save a soul. They're engaged in hatzalas nefashis. And she said when she grows up, she wants to marry a Chabadnik. And she wants to go on Shlichus. My granddaughter said that. I gave her a knip in the beckel. How do you say it in English?
We also say that every base Knesset is a little piece of Israel as well.
Okay, but when you're outside, so this is what she said. They're engaged in mamish hatzalas nefashos. They're saving lives. They're saving souls. So to save a life, you can push away the Torah. You can certainly push away the Torah to save a soul. How many thousands have they saved? In Uganda and Timbuktu, people, backpackers, Avram, they come in and they put on tefillin. First time in their life, they put on tefillin. What? But it's amazing what they do. They're not living in Israel? What's the answer? My daughter Elisheva, granddaughter Elisheva. Hatzalas nefashos. They're engaged in saving lives and souls, which pushes away the whole Torah. Except 3.
They're also saving people that...
I was so impressed, I gave her a knip in the beckel. How do you say it in English?
Pinch on the cheek.
These people are also taken captive by their host countries because they weren't given a Jewish education.
That's right.
So they, what do you call that?
Kidnapped.
Kidnapped?
Retrieving, somebody that's taken kidnapped.
Brainwashed.
No.
In the Hebrew, someone that's been taken...
Tinok shenishba. Tinok shenishba.
Retrieving, Tinok shenishba.
Right? And to free a captive, you can break the Torah. They're freeing captive souls. The great Chabad, what they do. Wow. All of us in our own little world, we can do kiruv. A lot of kiruv to do right here. Right? You have a neighbor that's not religious. Sarah, you and Avram, great tzaddikim. You have a neighbor who worked for the Shabbat, and you were makar of them in Ashkelon before the rockets hit. These people come from Ashkelon all the way. They have a neighbor that wasn't religious. They worked for the Shabbat and makar of them. We can do kiruv in our own little circle.
And we thank them for saving us.
That's right. That's right.